Certain footballers, those associated with strong leadership, good football IQ, and strong character, are often said to be on the way to being a great manager. But what if it was the other way around? Today, I'm looking into the 20 managers for the upcoming Premier League season and ranking them in order of their playing careers. Number 20, Spurs, Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank's playing career is completely unknown to the world because it was all in the Danish amateur leagues. Playing for his local Frederiksværk, his rise through the world of management came after he retired, starting at the amateur teams under 8. A remarkable career as a coach, but half of the people watching this may well have played football, or at least sport, at a higher level than Frank did. Number 19, Wolves, Vitor Pereira. Like Thomas Frank, midfielder Pereira only played amateur football, albeit for clubs that some people might have heard of if they play Football Manager or something. He came through the academy of Avanca before playing for Oliveirense, Avanca again, Esmoriz, Estareia, Fies, São João de Ver, and Lobau. Have you heard of them? Nah, you probably haven't. Number 18, Brighton, Fabian Hürzeler. Born in America but moving to Germany as a toddler, Hürzeler grew up in Munich and was part of Bayern's academy. He played as a defensive midfielder and graduated from the academy but only made appearances for the B team, as well as the second teams for Hoffenheim and 1860 Munich. Despite probably being good enough to continue at that level at least, many pointed out his coaching ability even as a youngster, and he decided to go to amateur side FC Pippinsried to become a player manager, and also played for Einsbütteler TV. His playing days even at the lower reaches ended when St. Pauli appointed him manager. And whatever his full potential as a player was, it's obvious that it isn't the same as what he achieved as a manager so far. However, he did represent his country at youth level as high as under 19.
Leeds, Daniel Farke. Coming into football with home club SV Steinhausen, the striker played in the German lower leagues for Paderborn Neuhaus and Lippstadt. He then went to Wilhelmshaven, returned to Lippstadt, Meppen, and then one more time to Lippstadt, where he ended his career to become manager. Completely forgettable, but at least he saw out his pro career, putting him ahead of Hürzeler. Number 16, Newcastle, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's exploits at Bournemouth are legendary, called Football Manager in real life, but a lot of people don't know that that was his home club, coming through their academy. They played in the second division, and after the 1995-96 and 96-97 seasons saw him get a few games. He played 5 seasons as a regular starter. He then went to First Division Portsmouth, but a pair of long-term injuries led to just 2 appearances in 2.5 seasons. He was loaned to Swindon for 6 months after that, but did not play for the second division outfit. After that, the centre-back was loaned to Bournemouth. Due to the club's perilous financial state, the fans raised money to bring him to Dean Court on a permanent, which turned out to be the most significant decision in the history of the club. And he played 3 more seasons in the renamed League One, each with less appearances than the last, before injuries made him retire, with him already considered a player coach. The rest is history. He also managed 2 England under-21 caps. He made 312 appearances at club level, with 310 coming for his beloved Cherries. To be honest, he is probably the biggest Bournemouth legend of all time, but less than 1% of that is because of what he did as a player, even with the 300 appearances. I think if people that aren't Bournemouth fans even know he was a player, it's probably incidental. Number 15, Fulham, Marco Silva. A Belenenses youth product, he made 1 appearance for the first team, one of just 2 in the top flight. Spending his entire career in Portugal, the right-back then went to Atletico, not that one, and then Trofense. He went on loan to Campo Maiorense, where he made his other sole Primeira Liga appearance, before returning to Trofa and then going to Rio Ave. Stints at Braga's B team, Salgueiros, and Odivelas were followed by 6 years in the second flight with Estoril. Not bad, but obviously completely overshadowed by his role in the dugout. Number 14, West Ham, Graham Potter. Graham Potter got his break when he was signed to Birmingham in the First Division, getting some game time in his first season, though he spent the next half season on loan at 4th tier Wycombe before being transferred to Stoke. After 2 seasons as a bench player, the left-back became a regular starter for the Potters in the 1995-96 season and earned a transfer to Premier League Southampton, where his game time was limited, but he managed the only 8 top-flight appearances of his career. After half a season, he went to First Division West Brom, with the next season featuring time on loan at Northampton. 1 season of semi-regular football at the Baggies was followed by another on loan to Reading, after which he played 3 seasons at Third Division York. He then went to Boston, but found himself loaned to Shrewsbury in the Conference, and then transferred to Macclesfield, where he played 1.5 seasons regularly in the renamed League Two before retiring, and entering management through university football. The Ghana women's team, at a time women's football gained a fraction of the interest it does today, and the very lowest reaches of the English game, making his rise even more impressive. He also managed 1 cap for England under-21s. Number 13, Everton, David Moyes. A very well-regarded manager, Moyes' career as a player has been basically completely forgotten. For instance, did you know he started his career in the academy of Icelandic side IBV? I certainly didn't. He moved back to Scotland with famous youth side Drumchapel Amateurs before going pro with Celtic. The centre-back was not a regular part of the Hoops side, but he made a few appearances, enough to win a league medal in 1982. He spent the rest of his career bouncing between Scotland and the English lower leagues, often harbouring managerial ambitions even at the time, and spending much of his playing days earning coaching badges and trying to learn from managers. He played for Cambridge, Bristol City and Shrewsbury before returning to Scotland with Dunfermline and Hamilton. He returned to England with Preston, where he hung up his boots to become the gaffer in 1998. He also played for Scotland at under-18 level. Number 12, Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner. Glasner is from Scherding in Austria and spent his whole career contracted to SV Ried. When he joined, they were in the second tier of Austrian football, but they got promoted in 1995 and even won an Austrian Cup in 1998. In 2003, they got relegated and he was loaned to Lask so he could stay in the Bundesliga. However, the defender returned for the 2004-2005 season when Ried got promoted back to the top flight, bagging another cup in 2011. At the start of the 2011-12 season, he developed a brain hemorrhage, forcing him into retirement. A solid career as a regular player. If he played in the FIFA era, it would be bronzes every season, but still a long career as a pro, and even the odd foray into European football as a result of the cup wins. Number 11, Aston Villa, Unai Emery. Unai Emery is from the Basque Country in Spain and played for Real Sociedad's academy. He did graduate, but he had only 5 league appearances for the first team, spending most of his time playing in the B team. He spent the rest of his career playing in the Spanish lower leagues, mostly the second tier for Toledo, Racing Ferrol, Leganés and Lorca Deportivo. A very respectable career for the midfielder, which included a few appearances in La Liga and even a goal, but nothing like the heights he's reached as manager. Number 10, Sunderland, Régis Lebris. Hardly anyone in England will have heard of Régis Lebris' playing career, and hardly anyone in France will have remembered it. Coming through the Rennes Academy, the defender had limited time playing in the French top flight before moving to Laval in the second tier. He spent 1 season at Ronza in Belgium's second division before pursuing a coaching career. A pretty quick one to get through, but he got a fair few games in Division 1 and significantly more in Division 2. Just enough to reach the top half in this list. Number 9, Liverpool, Arne Slot. An attacking midfielder, Slot's made up for a lack of speed and strength with good vision and intelligence, allowing him a respectable career in the Dutch system. Coming through FC Zwolle's academy, he put up an impressive goal tally when he made the senior team in the Dutch second tier, before joining Eredivisie NAC Breda after he was a major part of the team that got Zwolle promoted. He then moved to Sparta Rotterdam, before returning to Zwolle, who are now back in the second tier on loan, and moving to the renamed PEC Zwolle after half a season on a permanent. They won the Eerste Divisie, earning him 1 more term in the Eredivisie before retiring and instantly moving to the club staff as a youth coach. A very reasonable career, and with significant game time in a high-quality league. Number 8, Nottingham Forest, Nuno Espirito Santo. Coming through the academy of Vitoria Guimarães, the goalie made the senior team, punctuated by a loan spell at Villarreal, earning a transfer to Deportivo La Coruña in Spain. He spent a lot of his time there on loan at Merida and Osasuna, and when he was there was backup goalie, although used in the cups, including in 2002 when they won the Copa del Rey. After that, he joined Porto and lifted the Champions League as backup goalie. After a spell at Dynamo Moscow in Russia, he returned to play regular top-flight football for Avj, who got relegated. He then returned to Porto, again as the cup goalie, snagging a Taça de Portugal. He played at better teams than some of those ahead of him on the list, but mostly as a backup, literally having the nickname O Substituto at Porto. He also played for Portugal's B team. After he retired from Porto, he joined Malaga as a goalkeeping coach, starting his foray into management, which outranks his playing days. Number 7, Brentford, Keith Andrews. Bees fans were gutted to see Thomas Frank go, but this is one list at least that they've moved up the rankings as a result of his departure. Defensive midfielder Andrews hails from Dublin and came through Stella Maris, the capital's famous academy through which some of the finest Irish players have graduated. He spent the entirety of his senior club career in England, starting at Wolves after a loan spell at Oxford. He never got a solid starting spot at Molineux. When they were promoted to the Premier League, his chances of playing were further diminished, and one Prem appearance was sandwiched by loan spells at First Division Stoke and Walsall. Although he got more time after they were relegated, after one more season in the First Division, he decided to jump ship to Hull, who were also in the newly renamed Championship. Despite being a regular fixture in the squad following an injury, he moved down to League Two to MK Dons, where in his second season he won the league's Player of the Year as the Dons were promoted. Manager Paul Ince earned a move to Blackburn in the Prem and took Andrews with him. He was a regular player in one of the best leagues in the world for 2 years, followed by an injury-hit third season. He also became a starter in the Republic of Ireland national team, who were much better than they are now, being one Henri handball away from the World Cup and winning the Nations Cup tournament against Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. After his injury, he was loaned to Championship Ipswich and performed well enough to get a permanent transfer to West Brom, who were still in the Prem. This contract only lasted 6 months, but he played well. Andrews was among the better players in a miserable Euro 2012 for Ireland, for whom he made a total of 35 appearances. After one season at Bolton, who had just got relegated to the Championship, he found himself on the fringes and was loaned to Brighton for the next season. The season after that, he found himself making limited appearances on loan at Watford and back at MK Dons, and he retired at the end. Even a couple seasons playing in the Premier League is the stuff of dreams for most, and 35 caps at a mid-level European nation is very decent too. Number 6, Chelsea, Enzo Moresca. A tough one this, but Moresca just gets ahead of Andrews. An AC Milan and Cagliari youth product, he moved to England to start his career with West Brom in the second tier, where he spent 1.5 seasons as a rotation player. The Italian midfielder moved back to his homeland to sign for Juventus, spending the end of the season on loan to Bologna. In the 2001-02 season, he was part of the Juve squad that won Serie A, but was subject to a co-ownership deal with Piacenza for the next season, and left for Fiorentina after one season in Turin. Juventus bought him back and then sold him to Sevilla, being a regular player for them as they won the UEFA Cup, netting a brace in the final. He also scored in the Super Cup win that year, and played in the UEFA Cup final the next season too. However, it would be fair to say he was a rotation player in Andalusia, especially near the end of his time there. After a season in Olympiakos in Greece, he spent half a campaign in the wilderness before finally finding a role at Malaga back in Spain. This was a good 6 months for him as the side made a shock qualification for the Champions League. It earned him a transfer to Sampdoria, but he was not a frequent player and after 18 months joined Palermo in Serie B. They went up that season, and after one more season in Serie A, and then half a season at newly relegated Hellas Verona, he retired. He also represented Italy at levels up to under 21. Andrews played international football at senior level, albeit for a weaker nation, but I think Moresca being a regular feature, at least for a couple seasons, at a UEFA Cup winning team, puts him ahead of Andrews. Number 5, Man United, Ruben Amarim. Released from the Benfica Academy, Amarim kept his playing career alive by going through the Belenenses Academy. After getting his first minutes in the club in the 03-04 season, he spent 4 more campaigns there, getting fairly regular football. In 2008, he went back to Benfica. After a couple of seasons with, again, pretty regular game time, he saw his third season curtailed by injury. Fit again in 11-12, he had a spat with the manager and went on loan to Braga for a season and a half. He returned to Benfica in 2013 and featured regularly as they won a domestic treble, but then in 2014-15 had a big injury at the start of the season. After going on loan to Al Wakra in Qatar for the 15-16 season, he did not play again due to injury and formally retired in 2017. At international level, he managed 14 caps, playing in both the 2010 and 2014 World Cups, but never being a starter in the national side. To be capped 14 times for Portugal is no joke, but I don't think his career will be memorable to too many people. Number 4, Bournemouth, Andoni Iraola. Andoni Iraola was born in Usabil in the Basque Country and was part of the famous Antiguoco Youth Club, which has acted as a feeder to both of the autonomous community's premier clubs, Real Sociedad and Athletic Club. He then went to Athletic, playing his first professional football for feeder club Baskonia. He then played for Athletic Club's B team, Bilbao Athletic, for 2 seasons, before breaking into the first team for 11 seasons as the starting right-back, only really winding down in the 12th, where he still made 33 appearances in all competitions. He then finished life with New York City in the MLS. He made 7 caps for Spain in a golden generation, but never at a major tournament. Being a regular starter for a La Liga team, which though mid-table had some memorable moments, like a Europa League final, is a very solid career. Number 3, Burnley, Scott Parker. In a very tight race with Iraola, Parker just beats him to the 3rd spot. A graduate of Charlton's academy, he played a few games for them in the 1997-98 and 98-99 seasons, before seeing a bit more action in the 1999-2000 season. As they were promoted to the Premier League, he also spent some time at First Division Norwich on loan to gain experience. When he returned, he took advantage of an injury to captain Mark Kinsella to get regular Prem action. And by the time Kinsella was fit again, he found Parker in his spot for good. He spent 2.5 more seasons at the Valley, a time where he earned his first England call-up, before Chelsea came calling. However, he was only really ever a backup in West London, and as the takeover money kept flowing, more and more names came in ahead of him, and his time was limited. After 18 months at Stamford Bridge, he went to Newcastle in search of game time, and was considered among their best players as they won the Intertoto Cup. 2 seasons in the North East were followed by a move to West Ham, where he spent 4 seasons and was adored, seen as an incredibly consistent presence in the midfield. Though he had a few caps earlier on, he became a regular presence in the England side in 2011, even winning England Player of the Year. Unfortunately for the Irons, in 2010-11 they got relegated, and Parker went to rival Spurs to stay in the Prem and protect his England place. He won their Player of the Year that season, and at the end he started every game for England as they reached the Euro 2012 quarter-finals. However, an injury hit second term meant he was out the door at the end of it, and he went to Fulham. He was a regular starter for the Cottagers, who went down in their first season. Parker spent the next 3 playing regularly for them in the Championship, and never played for England again, whilst playing second-tier football. After that, he retired with 18 caps to his name. This is a very, very good career for a great player who sneaks ahead of Iraola thanks to his appearances at a major tournament. Number 2, Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. Another very close decision ahead of Iraola and Parker. Mikel Arteta was born in San Sebastian in the Basque Country and was also an Antiguoco graduate. Instead of staying in the Basque Country, he moved on to Barcelona, where the ridiculous crop of midfielders they had meant he was limited to the B team, which played in the 3rd tier. However, an 18-month loan to PSG showed he could play at a high level, as he was a rotation player in the French capital, at a team that even pre-takeover was full of talent. When he returned to Catalonia, he still found himself surplus to requirements, and was sold to Scottish giants Rangers, where he became a star as the Light Blues won domestic treble in his first season. The tough Scottish league helped him develop the physical side of his game, and after an unsuccessful spell at Real Sociedad, he was loaned after 6 months to Everton, with the Toffees then buying him outright at the end of the season. Everton is perhaps the club where he is most loved as a player, spending 6 seasons in Liverpool, plus the half season spent on loan. As a playmaker, he was majestic, and probably the club's best player during his time there, setting up assists for fun. In 2011, he went to Arsenal, where he spent 5 seasons as a more defensive-minded player. He was a regular fixture in the first 3, but ironically, after being named captain in 2014, spent the next 2 years on the bench before retiring. He is considered one of the best players to never win a cap in the modern era, in a time where Spain was overflowing with midfield talent, and talent everywhere else, but did play for his country at youth level, at under 16, under 17, under 18 and under 21, winning trophies at under 16 and under 18. Even though he was most associated with Arsenal because he manages them today, His best football was shown in an Everton shirt, where he set up assists for fun. However, his trophy cabinet is limited, and it's arguable that he never really played at the absolute highest level. Even though Iraola and Parker were capped, I think Arteta probably reached a standard of performance at Everton which Iraola and Parker never did, being fourth on the assist list in the 2006-07 Premier League season. Number 1, Man City, Pep Guardiola. It's probably a mystery to no one that Guardiola tops this list. I mean, he's literally the idol as a player and the mentor as a manager of the person who's number 2. The defensive midfielder joined Barcelona's academy as a teenager and then played senior football for their C and B teams. It did not last long for him to be starting for the Blaugrana, being a regular part of the side in the 1991-92 season, where they won the League and European Cup. In total, he would feature for the Catalan side in a total of 11 seasons, including 1991, where he made a few token appearances. They won the league in the next 2 seasons and also reached the 1994 Champions League final. After a tough couple of years, they won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1997 and the double the next year, although Guardiola missed most of it through injury. He won the league again in 1998 and 1999, but missed out in his last 2 seasons. With 382 appearances for Barca's first team, in 2001 he moved to Brescia in Serie A, and then to Roma after a season. He had limited game time in Italy, in part due to a doping ban, which he was later cleared of after his playing career ended. Feeling his career was over at the highest level, he played 2 seasons for Al Ahly in Qatar and ended his playing time in an injury-hit spell at Mexican club Dorados. He made 47 caps for Spain, playing at the 1994 World Cup and Euro 2000, and missing the 1998 World Cup with injury. He also won Olympic gold with his country. A defensive-minded midfielder, Guardiola was known for his intelligence on the ball, quick thinking, and positional awareness, which made up for not being as physically strong as others in the middle of the park. It's probably no surprise that those skills led to him being such a great manager. Overall, quite a mixed bag. Only Guardiola reached the pinnacle of the game, and even then, there have certainly been better players to manage in the Prem. Of course, even the number 1 player on this list reached greater heights as a manager than he did as a player. On the other hand, only 2, Thomas Frank and Vitor Pereira, failed to make it as professional footballers at all. Only 5 made senior caps: Guardiola, Parker, Andrews, Iraola and Amarim. The most common career path seems to be a middling player, with everyone from about 5th to 16th in this list mixing irregular top-flight appearances with lower league forays, or playing in a slightly weaker top flight, such as Portugal or the Netherlands. Of course, being a great player doesn't mean being a great Premier League manager, with Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard among the icons to find it tough as a gaffer in the English top flight. What do you think of the list? Are there anything you would disagree with, or do you think my football knowledge is elite and you agree with everything I say? Well, whether you're correct or not, let me know what you think in the comments below. It's going to be an exciting season with these 20 in the dugout.